Hey guys, Taryn and Justin here at your Bristol location. Galen and Steve hanging out in Morristown. We're coming back to you with another podcast just to, number one, say hi, check in with you guys in Morristown as well, but also talk a little shop, talk a little housekeeping, some things we have going on through the month of April, highlight a few things that you probably have seen or heard us talking about that happened in weeks past, and then just enjoy each other's company. Keep you in tune with what's going on in 10X and keep your finger on the pulse as members. So let's just kick it off by seeing how we're doing. Justin.
Hello.
Caitlin, Steve. What's up, boys?
Steve? I'm doing good. Just cruising right along. There's really not much to... I will say I do want to mention real quick, and I know we're going to get into this later, but I do want to iterate that we're very proud of everybody who went out to Reno, did really well. So I would like to start by saying that, but I personally am doing well.
Trying to get an emoji.
Oh, yeah. Galen, how you feeling, man?
Well,
We'll address him as national champ. Okay?
National champ?
Yes. Please only reference me as GGNC.
That's your new Instagram handle there.
I'm feeling like a Masters. I felt pretty good out west. Not great, but came back to this melting pot of pollen in the Tennessee biome and have since sounded like a bullfrog. So I'm like, it's the opposite of a fairy tale. I'm turning into a bullfrog as opposed to someone turning else. Otherwise, everything's great. Proud of everyone as well and their Reno performance, and excited for what seems like a more than a pinprick of interest in weightlifting again. So we'll conjure up some old ghosts and see where the road ahead takes us.
Tapping into some roots.
Oh boy.
Justin, what about you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Maybe the calls. I just got a text from Katya this morning. She goes, "What type of toxic stuff did you bring to Reno?" I guess my sickness kind of made my way through the rounds, and I'm sorry about that, guys. But I'm good now, so I'm happy. And it was fun to be out west with you guys.
Nice. Cool. All right. Well, I guess what we can kind of wade into just to get going is probably some things you've heard in the announcements as we've gone through our briefs in class. We just want to make sure we highlight those and maybe explain them with a little more detail. Number one being, if you saw our post as of yesterday that went out on Instagram and Facebook, we had a little birthday here in Bristol, so we could talk a little bit about that and maybe tip our caps to ourselves, because that's an accomplishment, as Steve has alluded to in previous podcasts. A lot of small businesses don't make it anywhere close to this far, and here we are plowing forward. So any cool memories you want to bring back up?
I think that first picture I posted yesterday, did it have Steve in it? I think it had Steve and Jordan Hahn in the first picture.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy to look back. It's been 11 years. It feels like yesterday. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah. The belief, looking back at those pictures, me coaching with the PPC there, or when we would commute once a week, both of us would commute once a week and coach. And coaching, I'm sure this story has been told a lot, but Shannon and Greg, first time they showed up, and everybody at first blush, trying to convince them to have a sip of the Kool-Aid when the Kool-Aid wasn't very well known.
Yeah. And the shell of this building also, to look into it and see how far it's come and changed, and our space quite different. I obviously never knew it like that. I've only been on board, which is kind of cool too, coming up on 6 years in a few days.
Wow.
Hard to believe that. I've only, Steve, you said 11 years rushed by. 6 years sure did the same for me. So.
And it's your birthday soon too, right, Taryn?
That's kind of that's one of my favorite birthday presents I've ever gotten, was to get away from what was at the time deemed miserable and come and, tuck in underneath your big old arms and stay a while. So yeah, 6 years, almost on my birthday. I think I came maybe like 17th or 18th, and my birthday's the 19th. So it was pretty cool. Yeah. Come back to
you didn't like the company that you worked for before?
Listen, I'm very fortunate for the opportunity. That's my political answer. It bridged a couple gaps for Lauren and I. So, but I think I'm a little bit better off where I am now. So,
yes, sir, we agree.
Yeah, well, we are too.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, thank you.
I don't know. I went through the old CrossFit 423 like social media posts. That's where I got all those pictures from. And going back and looking and laughing and seeing B-Bar without a beard, I'm like, who is this guy? Like, I don't know this guy anymore.
Alex Bomar looking jacked to the gills in some of those pictures I saw, and a bunch of faces that looked a lot more like baby faces in those pictures than what I see them as now.
Yeah. post some more in the next few days or whatever leading up to it. But I don't know. It's really fun. Go back 11 years, long time. We've been in Morristown. It'll be 14 years this year.
Yep.
We get ready to get our learner's permit there.
Yeah.
So speaking of which, we do, you've probably heard this 1,000 times now. You might hear it 1,000 more before the 20th, April the 20th. We will have our little birthday celebration in-house here in Bristol. So it'll be a Saturday. That'll be a big group workout. We'll design something that's shaped around the numbers that are meaningful to our birthday. And then hopefully you guys have the time and want to hang out after and stay with us. We'll do a little bit of food and enjoy each other's company. And yeah, so April 20th.
Are we kicking that off at 10 o'clock? Is that what it was?
Yeah, we'll run with our normal class time and then just let it flow into however long people want to stay. Yeah. We're not asking for your whole Saturday, but at least come spend a little extra time with us. So
yeah, look forward to it.
Yeah. And speaking of birthdays too, I guess this is a good little segue into what else we're offering kind of in response to that. And that's our birthday gift to ourselves / to folks that have never experienced what we offer here. So you've heard this as well, $50 membership opportunity to be gifted from a member to a non-member. So if you know anyone that has never experienced this or has only had a small taste, Steve actually came up with a good idea of giving them the full experience of a month, because you don't learn enough about this place in a couple of days, I think, to really encompass what it is we do. So give the gift of a full month. You guys can work out on the back end however you want to arrange payment and such. You can do it as a gift. You can work it out where they pay you back, however you want to do it. It's just going to be our best rate that we offer for an unlimited month membership. And that will need to be activated in April. And then that will need to be, purchased in April and then also activated in April. The day it's activated on, you get the full month to follow. So, and that's unlimited. So show up, test us out, see what you think. Anything y'all want to add on that?
I was going to say that was a very successful promotion last time. So hopefully we'll have the same out, especially the fact that more people know about it. I actually got interrupted in the middle of briefing a class talking about it. And so I'm hoping, that will mean you guys have plenty of people you want to gift that to, or, they can reimburse you on the back end as well, however you guys want to do that. But hopefully that will kind of bring the same response it brought last time.
Yeah. And I'll just pile on the idea of, maybe you guys as members have noticed that Bring a Friend Week frequency has decreased over the last 8 months. And that is in hopes of, instead of making friends properly sore for a few days and then unfamiliar with what it is that we do, like what you said, Taryn, we feel like $50 obviously is undervaluing what a potential member, current member receives in the form of value, but it gives more than just a glimpse into the door as to what the environment is, the community, the program, the design, the thoughtfulness, the briefing, the coaching, the relationships and everything else that the big swath of both gyms hopefully provide. So if you can do that for a discounted rate and you get a good taste of it, we're hoping that you like the drugs that we're offering in the form of longevity and health and strength and all those sorts of drugs. That's our angle. So these will happen less frequently than Bring a Friend Weeks. But hopefully the juice is far more worth the squeeze. That's our ultimate goal, is to introduce what we do to more people and for our folks to be able to share it with them more easily.
So what you're saying is if you smoke cigarettes, maybe you can quit in a week, but you can't quit in a month.
Right. Yeah.
You're in at that point.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah. If you smoke a few times a week, then you're smoking. That's what we're at. I'm making you some exercise smoking.
Well said, G. Well said. Taryn and I actually thrown around the idea of $1,000 a month membership. You get the membership, then you get a month supply of Ozempic as well.
Results guaranteed.
They normally say results may vary. They won't vary. We're going to get one result
guaranteed. That's funny. Cool. Well, that's good.
We're happy to celebrate the gift in that form and Thanksgiving, and then maybe we'll have another one in between. So it's exciting for me because, like Steve said, when we ran this for Thanksgiving, I think we had something like 15 people actually join the gym instead of 30 people come to the gym for a week and then disappear and wonder why they can't walk right for a few days.
It's that thing, you get something for free, you don't value it, but if you pay for it, it's like, all right, I got to use this. like, which is great.
Cool.
I just want to say, Steve, you look amazing in your shirt right now.
Thank you, sir.
My favorite shirts we've made to date.
Oh,
Dude, I did not like them when we first got them, but boy, I love them now. They're by far one of my, I'd say top 3 at least, maybe top 5, but they're good. Very, very good. Good job, Terry. Good job, Steve.
Let's say Taryn's the one who really brought that home.
Yeah.
Hey, if I can let the cat out of the bag, we might have a Murph shirt that's going to be pretty cool. It's got an awesome theme behind it, but we are teaming up with Stepping Out just like we did last year. And so they're working on that design right now. They're working on sponsors. And if you want to be a sponsor, maybe you reach out to one of us, Galen at 10X.
On the stand up a little, Jimmy. Oh, missed it. It's all right. It's on there. It's on the bottom. Stand up. Stand up. There.
A little bit.
That's most viewed podcast in 10X history.
I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but this would be the sponsorship type stuff.
Yeah. I like
Right here. Yeah.
Guys, they'll proudly put it on there.
You can be worn on Galen's back like that, and he'll twerk and so we get it.
Back.
That's right.
Where's
Yeah, so yeah, that's something I wanted to mention was the fact that we have that Murph shirt coming out, and I think it'll be G.I. Joe themed, something like that. So kind of a different twist on things. I believe it'll be more of the military color, but it'll have that insignia on the front. So
Can you
something
explain the charity, Steve? What it is?
Stepping Out, they I'm trying to remember exactly what they do. I think they just help people get back out on their feet, essentially.
Abused females.
Yes.
Working their way into normalcy again. So they provide them a place to live, and they kind of a graduated progression, the way I understand it.
Yeah.
Of making their way back to normal life.
Yeah, it is tailored towards women, mostly in particular.
Yeah.
But yeah, they help people get back on their feet. And great organization, by the way. So we've had, I think, a lot of great success with them, especially with the shirt sales and stuff like that. It's been really good getting their name out there even more. And I've even had them come speak at the Civic Club that I'm in as well. So they do a great job.
Heck yeah.
Nice. Cool. I guess that has housekeeping stuff buttoned up for us. We can start talking about what Steve alluded to in the very beginning and kind of maybe work through some of the experiences you guys had in more detail, or what people weren't able to see on the video footage that was captured and stuff, and tip our cap to you folks for going to Reno. So here we are, Reno. Galen, you got any cool stuff you want to share? So Galen and Justin, we're out there. Galen participating, Justin coaching our members through. So it was Galen, Robbie, Amethyst, and Katya from Morristown. And then it was Becca here from Bristol.
Mm-hmm. And I think we got a lot of FOMO of people missing out here in Bristol as well, which we'll talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, highlights other than getting them gold chains, dog.
Oh man, the highlights for me were mostly watching the ladies who were less experienced do so well. For me, I mean, my performance was what it was. It wasn't what I wanted or aimed for. It was good enough. But to see Katya come back out of the hole, she missed a lift, and she actually stepped out of her own way and was mostly coachable. And to watch Becca be coachable, and to watch Amethyst just like steel nerves. Robbie went 6 for 6, looked as polished as ever. Just the entirety of it was 4 straight days of coaching folks essentially. And just as a group, whether folks medaled or not, I mean, let's just be honest, the most competitive group was the younger group. So Amethyst and Becca were in the way, way, way more competitive group than any of us older folks were. But just the totality of watching these ladies show up and perform on sometimes their second time standing on a platform, I thought that was just incredible. For me, it was fun. It was still fun. Like I said, I didn't do what I wanted to do. It was a really, really long session. My session, that was. It was good to be with Jay back in the back again and see the thing full circle, to be in the city where my weightlifting career, if you want to call it that, wrapped up, and then come back 9 years later and lift fractional amounts of weights, but be recognized for the age. I said the only improvement about age is you don't have to lift as much weight, fortunately. So for me, the numbers were easier to qualify, and my joints and back mostly cooperated for the 6 weeks of training that I did for it, I guess 6 to 8 weeks.
But you're still 95% of what you hit back in the day, right? About 90, I would say, which is freaking awesome.
Pretty close. If I'd hit my snatch, I would have been 90%. And then if I'd hit the jerk of the 130, I would have probably been right at 90%. So, I mean, it's a duck snort away, a good lift or better CNS. If my training had panned out a little better, but I mean, who's to say? I train 1 day a week for this stuff, and it's hard to be upset. I'm not upset. I just, the perpetual perfectionist in me is never satisfied, and I've come to terms with that. So that's okay. I'm fine with it, and it gives me nudge and
which is good because
bleeding for sure.
You had that, was it Scott Baxter? Was that his name?
Yeah.
Who competed in a world competition as well. And it was hilarious because he was going to be in a lower weight class and wanted to be a Galen, so he drank a bunch of water before to like level up. And Galen was like half a kilo from being in a lower weight class as well, which is pretty cool. It's insane. It's really cool, man. And Galen took gold in snatch, clean jerk, and the total. So there's 3, which is really awesome. So kudos to G. Dude, it was so fun watching you. Like I think I had way more fun watching than I ever did competing. So, and you going out there, and then did you do your jump this year like you did back in the old days? Remember that?
My body's built much braver because I want to be free.
Straight up.
The hip click, probably, I'm sure. That's generally my vent of frustration. It's like I pull the frustration vent and flip around and
it was awesome. It was awesome.
Yeah, I didn't mention that. I headed out there thinking I was the only person in my weight class in my age division, so I wasn't excited about competing by myself and just getting a participation trophy. So when the fella came up and introduced himself, I was thankful to have some competition, and then immediately thought, all right, well, I guess I do have to perform a little bit. He was in a 102. I was in the 109 weight class. We were both in the 40 weight or age division. So he drank a liter of water and then ended up weighing more than me, which is really hilarious. I weighed 102.8, and I guess he weighed 103 or 102.9 or whatever it was. It worked out because we clean and jerk the same amount. So I won the clean and jerk based on body weight, fortunately.
Wild. Absolutely wild.
Yeah.
I was going to say real quick, Taryn and I, we're not old enough, but like you old people need to jump in. So I just noticed that, we were represented by the ladies, but there's no fellas except for the big guy here. We got to get some guys on there.
Trying to get Drew Leach to do it next year with me. Jay's considering surgery to have it done. So
let's go.
Maybe we'll have some more interest.
We got to talk to Brittany Bay, see what needs to be done about my wrist, and I'll do it next year if I can do that.
And it seems as if they do an East Coast, West Coast. What'd you do?
I did a thumbs up, I think, on the spot.
They do an East Coast, West Coast. So likely 2025 will be East Coast, or at least Eastern side of the country. Maybe the travel will be less prohibitive if people want to jump in.
Nice.
We'll see. Who knows?
Great news.
And there's two masters divisions too, right? 2 different separate standing. Did you see that?
I don't know. It locks me out.
Organizations. It's not what I would think.
Yeah, I don't know how that other one works. We'll have to check it out. Shanna said, I think next year for that one, she sent me a link. I think it's the other weightlifting division or corporation, I should say, I think it's in Iowa. So I think Boise. So that we'll look into that, but we'll see what the actual USAW. I will say one thing from where we came from like the Masters that you competed at this year looked as good or maybe better than the American Open we competed at. Like the Masters this year looked as good as 9 years ago. When Shannon and I went, it was basically in a high school gymnasium that they'd put platforms on a basketball court. Like, so to do it in a ballroom like they did this year is a huge improvement and shows that hopefully the sport is going in the right way as far as catering to the older people.
Yeah.
Cater to me. Impressive.
Cool. So maybe we give a quick rundown for folks that haven't heard us talk about it or don't really get the gist of how you qualify and what that looks like. Do you want to highlight real quick what it even takes to make it to the stage you guys made it to?
You can do that. Basically you do a sanctioned meet, guys. All you do, like there's a sanctioned meet. USAW has sanctioned meets. There's 2 a year that's actually in Johnson City at the mini dome is where they used to do it. They have the handle barbell, and then what's the other one, G? You remember? Stone
Do
Age.
it the Stone Age, yeah.
Stone Age. Yeah. So they have 2 of those once a year, and basically USAW sets out a qualifying total for each age and weight class. You hit the minimum amount that they say is good, and you qualify, and all you do is sign up and you go. So it's not difficult as in complexity, but it's you hit your numbers and you're good. Just got to make sure you sign up for the competition before the deadline.
Yeah, you register with USAW, which is just pay to play essentially, and then you hit your lifts. So long as they're two-thirds of the judges agree that your lifts are good, then you qualify. You don't have to beat someone you're competing against. You literally just have to hit that target that they set for the year. And I guess that's based on the previous year, right? The way they estimate the
participation. Usually they do some sort of, I guess, equation and see what the lifts were. So there's more really good lifters, the higher the totals are going to be. It's at least how they do nationals and the American Open to kind of make sure they're not having what the first year I competed, they had, I think, 498 signed up at the American Open, and I was lifting after midnight. So, but also I will say, if you don't know what weightlifting is, it's you do snatch and clean and jerk. You get 3 attempts at a snatch, and then you get 3 attempts at a clean and jerk, and then you are scored based on your snatch heaviest weight, your clean jerk heaviest weight, and then your total of those 2. And the total is what you get to qualify. So Galen qualified easy. Almost everybody in the gym was pretty easily qualified. It's just when you get to the national level, especially in Masters, it's just like you're just going to be fighting for podium if you can get a podium spot.
And Jeff, you mentioned the 2 events at ETSU. If those are ones you can't make, they're peppered all around the region, right? Like Galen, you qualified. Where did you go? Up in Kentucky?
Lexington, yeah.
Kentucky, and then Katya and Amethyst caught like a last minute one. Did they go to like Charlotte or
Raleigh? I think it was Raleigh.
Raleigh? Okay. So yeah, they're peppered all around. If you can't make the ETSU one, obviously the ETSU one is the most convenient for us, or one of those 2. But
yeah, if you just go to the USAW website, click events, like it'll show all the USAW certified events. I think we did one in Chattanooga. Where have we been anywhere else, G?
We've sanctioned one here ourselves. K-Town sanctioned one years ago. Chattanooga is the only other place I think we've done it other than this recent one where we did Lexington. I'm sure there's some in Nashville, like we can meet up with JoJo and do it somewhere out there, or Atlanta. I was seeing some in Atlanta. You just have to essentially pick your meet and then sign your name to the dotted line so that you're in the mix. Commit to it, and then all the training will fall into place. And for that matter, I sent the ladies a message, but their performance was great, but it's just a testament to the work that they've done over the last 11 years in Bristol or the last 14 years here to their stalwart focus on doing things right just for the sake of doing it right. None of them aspired to do weightlifting. If you'd asked them 6 months ago, maybe Robbie, because she'd done it before, but I don't think Katya or Becca or Amethyst had any aspiration of doing weightlifting, but they've taken their training within the gym so seriously that they position themselves to be competitive by default, just by taking their daily training serious enough. So that was my big takeaway. Was, man, what an incredible position that they've given themselves, and for us to watch, so they can just show up, train it for 2 weeks, qualify for a national event, and then most of them take home medals. And then Becca and Amethyst were in the hunt, really, if you really want to call it. It was incredible to me.
Yeah.
So training within the gym, and if you're heading and attending these workshops, move well, and then see where the cards fall. Sign up. What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah. 2 things I'd like to add to that. Number 1, if you've never been to ETSU, it is one of only 2 Olympic training sites in America. So there's there in Colorado Springs. So they have a lot of the knowledge, not only knowledge, but on top of that, they have a lot of the, I guess, reputation, the awe factor of what it is to be in a really nice Olympic training center.
Yeah, pedigree.
And they do a great job. Yeah, they do a fantastic job. So that was number 1. And number 2, I think it's a testament to what we do here, like Galen said. And so we have these guys that went to the weightlifting meet, the nationals.
Steve has too.
Long time ago. But yeah, But not only that, we had some people running a marathon this past weekend, 4 or 5 people that did not train for it really, mostly. They ran a half, some of them ran a 5K. We had all kinds of running this past weekend here too.
And Grayson.
And Grayson Highlands, yeah. So I think it's just a testament to what CrossFit does across the board. I mean, I couldn't find a better testament of the general prepared, physical preparedness that we are after, more so than at least those 2 different extremes coming out. Yeah. So congrats to all you guys. But I did want to mention those couple of things real quick, just to piggyback off of what he said.
Yeah, guys, and kudos to Robbie. Like we talked about Galen. Galen got 3 golds. Robbie, 3 golds, and Katya, she got 2 golds and a silver. Okay, or just 2.
I think it's just 2 golds.
Okay, so she's still national champion. And when the national champion comes in, guys, that's from the total. That's snatch plus clean and jerk. She didn't do as well as some of the other girls in snatch, but her clean and jerk was a monster lift and put her ahead of the other people in their total enough to still win the overall national champion, which is phenomenal. Like, how many national champions does anybody know? It's really cool, man. It's so cool.
I know.
Gail's like,
Galen like slides out of the, he like starts to disappear. And Steve, quick question for you. In regards to that race, the 5K and half you were talking about, just out of curiosity, did anybody that competed in the weightlifting that we've just been talking about participate in those races? No.
They would do well. I think it's just that I don't think they would qualify for masters. Maybe 1 or 2 of them would in that argument. Edie would qualify. She ran a 5K.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think Edie would qualify.
She would qualify pretty easily, I would think.
Yeah.
And the rest of them were just. We have a guy, Jake. We've mentioned him before on podcasts in the past. That dude, I feel like he could run 40 or 50 miles straight today, no matter what.
I want to clear the air. I misspoke about Jake. I learned this yesterday. I told you guys he's training for a 50K. It's a 50 miler. So he ran the marathon Sunday and ran a 4:04.
Cruising.
So
I think I'd rather get Full Metal Jacket with some soap. You know what I mean?
So, well, I'm just curious because you hear about that, the folks that do our training methodology and maybe not specifically ours, but CrossFit as a whole, being able to perform heavy power lifts or Olympic lifts and then be able to go out and do those races and perform very well. So I was just curious if any of the lifters that we had been talking about from Reno took on that feat as well. So, but you guys did mention
we should give him a nod. Ross Litz, Daniel Noe, Jack Wilson, Whitney, Nichols, and Jake Farr.
Jake Farr, and then 5K would have been Edie, Tanner,
Tiff
was in that. I think that was it.
Yeah, a bunch of runners this weekend that we didn't know. So
That's
sorry,
great,
go ahead, Tiff.
Cool. What event was it? Was it in Morristown?
The 5K was here, but the rest of it was in Knoxville.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. And we've mentioned a couple times now, our list has grown so large now that I don't even know where to start on counting our folks headed up. We're less than a month out now.
We have 20 plus easily. Like
Yeah.
I counted 20 in here one day, and I'm probably missing some. So
yeah. And I think
2 from us. Me and Trista will be. Trista and I will be there.
Nice. Cool. Well, I guess this is another decent segue into from kind of discussing our methodology and programming to the obvious shift that most of you have probably felt. You saw Galen's signing off Sunday brief a couple weeks ago, and then my signing on, much less eloquently written signing on Sunday brief information. And you've probably you've now felt a week of the change in programming. Our direction, if you've probably haven't already heard, is certainly towards what most of you could have guessed for this time of year. As we alluded to earlier, the new shirts, and then Galen is wearing last year's shirt. That's on the horizon. Luckily, we have plenty of time to prepare. You're starting to see more hints of that body weight moving volume. If you made it in yesterday, this is being recorded the day after the 100 push-ups with some aerobic biking sprinkled in. We're starting to build our case towards Murph Prep. And you're still seeing GPP type stuff, general physical preparedness stuff that Steve alluded to earlier. We're not right around the corner to where we need to go all hands on deck Murph. but you're starting to see those sprinkles. So direction of programming, if you want, the 30,000 foot view is still trying to doing some strength maintenance work. So you're still going to see the back squat days, the bench press days, the deadlift days, weaving in Olympic lifting, because that's what Jay calls speed strength work. So you can still get pulling strength from the floor, but doing so in a lot more aggressive or a lot more snappy fashion. But then starting to lengthen out the time domain of programming. So 30 minuters on the minute for 26 minutes, things of that nature. Spend more time on foot. So you're starting to see the running with the weather change. And then lastly, more push-ups, more pull-ups, more air squats with vest touches sprinkled in. So that's where we're headed. Hopefully you've liked week one. I know a lot of us were probably pretty beat up. I threw some volume at you, so sorry, sort of, for that. Say that like in a sadistic way. We have a pretty good dose of volume this week that the video is being recorded, and you'll continue to see that in the weeks to come. So hopefully you enjoy it. All of us have different flares on how we program. Galen did a really, really good job of working through the super important base layer, I like to call it, the fundamentals, the accessory work that keep the joints healthy, make them strong, improve the range of motions so that you can have fun and hop on a pull-up rig and crank out kipping motions and do a bunch of air squats or dive under a heavy clean. So well done, Galen. Hopefully mine goes okay as well for the first or second quarter. And then, and then you'll see it move around to Justin and Steve in quarter 3 and quarter 4 of the year. So you'll feel different flares of how our minds work differently as the year goes on. So, but Murph, here we come in another nutshell, I guess. So
it's kind of, now that it's time of year, everybody gets hyped up. The weather's getting a little bit warmer, starting to get outside. If you love running, you love it. If you hate running, you hate it. So I think it'll be a nice change. Love G's programming. It's like, it kind of reminded me of pre-CrossFit, which I got into back when Gail and I both worked at the rec park, all the curls and stuff that we did, and weighted dips and wearing do-rags at the Southwest Virginia Community College.
Yeah, and that stuff, obviously he took us through hypertrophy focused programming block. And, you know, the stuff that most people, I say most loosely, but a lot of people crave is not necessarily the stuff that make you look the prettiest in the mirror. What Galen threw you through is what's going to add the size to the legs and the arms and start to define the shoulders and stuff. So I definitely think that stuff is extremely valuable. Maybe some of my favorite, but I'm a little bit biased to do, not necessarily to write. I don't have the creative ability like Galen to write that stuff as well. But anyways.
I think that's actually what I alluded to last time we talked about this, was the fact he took a bodybuilding subject and made it a lot more fun, a lot more applicable towards CrossFit methodologies. And that's a really cool weave to create, because bodybuilding can be boring at times.
Monotonous for sure.
Monotonous, maybe not boring, but monotonous for sure. And so it was cool to see them both mixed together in a really, really cool fashion. And like Taryn said, the bodybuilding part, it may not be as fun, but it is super important to have that. And hopefully you guys learned you don't have to lift a ton of weight to put on muscle. Matter of fact, it's the science behind that would be a little different. Obviously you need to weight lift heavily from time to time, but as far as building muscle goes, you don't need that much. It's more of a higher reps, lower weight kind of game. But hopefully you guys got to see that and you got to pack on some muscle, and you did a great job. And Taryn, you are doing a great job so far. So,
Thank you.
I mean, keep it up, you know, but
it's easy to be creative for a week. Everyone's like, I liked your week last week. Good job. And I was like, it's easy to be creative for a week. Just hold on tight. I'll do my best. It's gonna, you know, because you accidentally, and Galen too, let's circle back to this one. It's hard to program through an open. You got a moving target. You don't know what's coming down the pipe. You don't know what to hit hard and when to hit it hard, because they could hit it hard to follow. So yeah, I'll do my best to continue. And I'm not having to contest with anything like that. I have fully open weeks, you know, and can build off of kind of what our direction is, as opposed to what the all-seeing CrossFit, you know, programmer's direction is. So yeah, hang tight, bear with me. We'll see after in month 3 of Q2 how well things are going, but I trust that you'll enjoy it. I hope anyways.
I think you're doing great, just for the record. And the good news is, for those of you who have once again endured the previous decade of fitness, and Jay and my and Steve's fumbles on program design. We run it now through a group filter. So there are more than one sets of eyes that are analyzing and providing constructive feedback. So the final product is, in my opinion, and in my estimation, better than it's ever been en masse. So on average, the weekly program is such a higher caliber than it may have been, for sure, 14, 12, 10, 7 years ago, most likely.
Yeah, we kind of have our own Congress. Like we present a bill and it gets voted on whether it's going to go through or not. So it's the law of meritocracy for sure.
Yeah.
We try to make sure to get you all the best product that we can. But I was going to mention, Taryn said he doesn't have anything to work around. You might have something to work around in June, possibly. We're flirting with the idea of, with the weightlifting, hopefully the weightlifting interest from this last couple of weeks, we're thinking about doing a weightlifting workshop. We did a gymnastics workshop in March. So June might be the month to try to do a weightlifting workshop, and or maybe have an event behind that, possibly. We're talking about that right now and discussing it. So something to keep your eyes and ears peeled and listening for. So
yeah, I think great work, team. It's been fun. G, great work. I do like the filter. You tell me how stupid I was programming back in the day. Here's a fun story. Saturday mornings, Galen and I would sit at his house and try to figure out the next day's workout or Friday nights, we'd try to figure out the Saturday group workout. And I was like, we need a little bit more glutes. Let's do a 2-minute AMRAP of hip bridges. And Galen looks at me, he's like, they're going to be going really fast doing glute bridges. He's like, it's going to look a little weird. I was like, oh, yeah, that's right.
Mandatory eye contact with the person next to you.
2 minutes of glute bridges, 2 minutes of bending bows.
Jumping pull-ups.
I was going to say bootstraps. Bootstraps have to be in there for sure.
Interesting.
That showed up in the open this year, Steve. So
Hey,
that.
an old man can be wrong too, for sure.
If you don't know that backstory, it's a little inside joke. Taryn programmed jumping pull-ups in a workout one day, and nobody said anything, and Steve just goes, interesting. And that's all he said. We died with.
Don't sleep on them. Don't sleep on them.
Oh, they're hard, man. Filthy 50 has 50 jumping pull-ups in it. That gets the calves crushed.
Yeah, Steve.
Dude, talk about a workout. I'm not because of the jumping pull-ups, but the fact, yeah, that's one of them for
50
sure.
burpees at the end, right?
Oh, it's
last
terrible,
thing's 50
man.
burpees.
Terrible.
Double unders, wall balls,
What's
something like that.
That one is
Wall burpee double under.
Huh. That's a great
that
idea.
one- oh god.
Box jump, jumping pull-ups. I'm trying to remember them all. Some of high pulls,
There's a lot.
back spins, push press.
So it's
I think back-
500 reps, I guess, of everything.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Anyways, yes. Looking forward to your programming, Taryn. Looking forward to, we have Heroes Journey Week coming up. It's not terribly far off for Jay, and then
You
Steve
bet.
will bring us home for the bird.
Christmas time.
Yeah.
Already have it programmed out, so
Really?
Dang, nice.
we're good to go.
That's awesome.
May change one day. I'll let y'all look at it. Maybe one day.
Very cool.
I need to get started. I mean, I need to go ahead and go.
A cup of coffee one day, get fired up.
Dude, I was like, man, between like social media and like making these videos and stuff, I'm gonna go ahead and get at least try to get a month or so behind me so I can go ahead and implement Watify, because that'll probably take at least, I think, 48 hours to enter everything. So Watify is horrible typing in stuff.
Yeah. I have noticed a few of my grammatical errors already in Watify. I apologize for that.
At least you write warm-ups.
I'll do my best. Yeah.
So you just the heavy set of 5 on back squats if you're me, I guess.
Jay, I thought you were going to say it's taking you a month to write it, and it'll probably take you a month to put it in Watify.
That's the truth, man. Oh my God, I hated that more than anything. Hated it.
It is the rough part. It's very painstaking.
Watify, if you're listening to this, do better.
Yeah, do
Guys,
better. Much
do better.
What else we got? Starting to get a little bit nicer out at local hiking spots or something like that. Maybe we plan like a little gym hike, or y'all do LeConte. When do y'all do that, G?
We haven't since the fiasco for Sunrise a year ago. I haven't scheduled a hike because it was like lost souls on the trail. Once we left, it was just Murphy's Law, except at 3 a.m. So cold, wet, dark,
Yeah.
people who are lost, people who are ill-equipped. So I have a deep wound that I've yet to see heal. So I don't know. If you guys want to put one together, I'll join. How about that? I won't have to lead it.
Which you'll kind of be hiking if you're doing the Grayson Highlands, if you're doing the ruck or whatever. And then we also have that ruck in September in Panther Creek State Park. So that'll be some of it. Yeah. So state parks. I put in Tennessee state parks. Anything y'all recommend? We recently got a new setup, and I was just like, any recommendations where to go?
I haven't been to that all that.
Fall Creek Falls is cool. Yeah, that's about the only one I know outside of Panther Creek.
Fall Creek Falls was really interesting. Rob and I went for 7 days 2-3 years ago, and like it was very relaxing, very pretty. And we also went to the, I guess, Mennonite community and like shopped around and stuff. That was a really fun trip. If you've never been there, that's good.
You're asking.
Yeah, I haven't been.
So you're.
But have y'all ever spent time down in Maggie Valley?
I have not.
Yeah, I haven't. We were down that way for a short amount of time. We missed the leaves, and that time of year the town closed down, so we didn't really get to experience what it's all about. But I mean, that might be something worth checking out.
Yeah.
Galen, do you speak? What are your thoughts on Maggie Valley? I didn't get a good read. I couldn't get a feel off of it because everything was closed down and stuff.
That you want to see elk, you could hop over into Cataloochee, that side of the park, in the North Carolina side of the Smokies, where most of the elk exist. I think you're heading there, right, Jay? Is that where you said you're headed?
Yep, we're going Saturday night. We're going to. Speaking of, we got 4 girls competing Saturday, this coming Saturday in Bulls Gap, a female weightlifting event. I don't know the name of the gym offhand. Y'all?
Yeah, Galen, what is it?
Center of Strength CrossFit.
Center of Strength CrossFit. So they're doing like a ladies only weightlifting meet. I think it's for a charity. So we got Becca, who competed at nationals. We got Betsy, who wished she competed at nationals. Maddie, and there's one more. God, it's Becca, Maddie, Betsy, Tegan, there we go. Tegan, good call, G. So they'll be competing on a Saturday. So if y'all get bored, Morristown people, if you want to come down and hang out a little bit, cheer some people on, chain some weights, and we'll do that Saturday.
Probably
definitely closer for us than it is for you.
Yeah, it's an easy drive for us.
I may try to swing by. We'll see what Saturday pans out. I still carry this frog in my throat. We'll see. I don't think I'm contagious, but we'll see how the weekend looks. We swim through all this rain in the forecast.
Yeah.
Quack, quack.
It's called Queens of Ollie, and she's hosting one, East Tennessee. And I do believe it's a fundraiser that multiple locations that will, be participating all around the, I guess, region, maybe. Trying to look more.
It is weightlifting, snatch, clean and jerk, right? Exclusively.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like a sanctioned event because you don't have to wear singlets or anything like that. So I think it's already past the deadline to sign up, but that would be a great one to get into it, just to kind of get the feel, as Becca said, from being the only one on the weightlifting platform and everyone's looking at you. So kind of a good little first starter to get that out of the way.
Yeah. Looks like it's a breast cancer awareness fundraiser. So yeah.
Steve saw a comedian this week.
I saw Bert Crosher at Thompson Bowling Arena. Yeah. Super funny. I don't know. It's hard to recommend him if you don't want to hear some heavy cursing, but he is hilarious.
A machine. Did he do that one?
Yes, he did that joke at the end where he went to Russia when he was in college and accidentally joined the Russian mafia, which I don't know. I don't know how you do that, but nonetheless, it was really fun. He does a great job. He's kind of like a younger, trashier version of Ron White, if you guys know that style of drinking and being able to tell stories. I love that kind of comedic approach, and the timing of his jokes were good. He's just a funny dude. He does his whole stand up with his shirt off. He literally comes out rips his shirt off and does the entire stand-up piece.
He's Jordy.
He's
He's
Jordy.
Jordy of the
He's
comedian
Jordy.
world.
Yeah.
Who was Steve?
I'm not mean they look alike. I'm just saying that's the behavior.
Do you remember
Yeah.
his openers, Steve?
Yeah, he had 3 openers, and I didn't recognize either of the 3, but they all did a great job. They just all brought different aspects of comedy. The first guy was from Queens, New York, so he brought that New York style flavor, making fun of us because we're, slower in speech. So I'll say it that way. And the other 2 did a really good job of. The second guy was making some jokes about being a little bigger. He's a big dude, so the second guy did that. The third guy came out and did some really good jokes on being super jealous and things like that. So it was funny.
It's cool. He had 3 openers.
Yeah. This guy, I'm not giving him enough credit. He's pretty big. He's got a movie on Netflix in particular, came out in theaters as well. So he's not low key on the comedy stage, but he may not be as known to you yet. I'd say he will be there soon.
Yeah.
Bill Cosby?
Oh, God. Yeah. He drugged 3 people on stage.
Speaking of, go back to programming. We were talking about the Open. What'd y'all think of the Open this year?
I thought it was good. The first one was not to my liking, but the other 2, no, just because I didn't like it doesn't mean it's not right to do it or that it's bad. It's just I didn't like it. So that's more of a tell on me than it is on them, probably.
Yeah. I mean, it was as I expected.
I thought it was awesome.
I don't have any big criticism. I know a lot of people were hating on the bending, repetitious bending, but what do you do?
Yeah.
And last one was predictable. I like that they've kind of lowered the bar for people who could do the online qualifier. I like that more people can get in the ring and get a good taste of what would be like a proto regional feel, at least a weekend of training and filming and competing before they qualify for sectionals. I like that. So kudos to them on that front. How about you?
I thought it was good. People are, like you said, people are complaining about the bending, but if they would have put the thruster workout in the middle, I think everyone would have been fine. Like, a little bit of bending, a little bit of squatting, then a little bit of bending to finish it off. But I thought, and they said that they're trying to get more people. They're honestly after some money, which they're business, and don't blame them. That and the quarterfinals taking top 25%. If you're a decent athlete and you don't qualify for 25%, well, if you have games aspirations, I should say, if you're like,
you got work to do.
yeah, but and also obviously some of the people talking about putting a little bit less stress on the athletes because the Open doesn't matter, like the top athletes. And then, all right, quarterfinals is game season because they actually have to videotape all that stuff before they go to semifinals. Ben crushed it.
Yeah, he had a really good, from what I saw, didn't speak with him about it much, but a really good first 3 workouts. And then that stuff's about to crank right up, right? 11th?
I can't remember.
13th, maybe?
Y'all leaving? Workout? So, okay.
Yeah, it's either end of this week or sometime next week, I think, for the individuals, I believe.
Okay. I know the
start,
team's already started, or it starts this week.
Say they were like, 6th or 7th or something, or 3rd or 4th.
Ben was like,
Right?
what's that?
Just down. It's in Knoxville, correct?
Yeah, this
The
year's
semis,
semifinals.
Yeah.
Which is cool. So we may, depending on the weekend, maybe try to go down and spend the weekend down there if we can. We'll see. But just go watch. It'll be fun. You going?
Stay with us. You can stay with us if you want. I mean, I
Okay.
imagine if you're going to make a trip of it, so long as it doesn't intervene with sore necks.
I think theirs is actually, I think it's in June, maybe.
Okay.
I think because it's the Northeast, I think, is the last semifinal. So it's pushed, I think, to June. And then I guess it'll give them 2 months to get ready for the games, which is beginning of August, I think, this year. So interesting how that.
So speaking of that, the times that I saw for the workouts, some of those were insane. Like the first one was low 5s. Somebody got in the low 5s. And then
9 or something like that.
muscle up one, there was a girl that did 7.5 or something crazy.
There's some freaks.
I thought these snatches, the first workout, the snatches and burpees over the dumbbell, how it's usually always alternating. Like when you had to do them all at once, it was instant, like forearm explosion and heart rate spike.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you couldn't pull it back down. That's the trick. The trick is not so much the heart rate's going to go up. It's who can pull it back down or keep it down longer. That's really the name of that game. And those guys, I don't even know if theirs goes up at all. It doesn't look like it. They do incredible stuff.
Go back and watch Colton Merton's video. I think he's the one that did 529. He was at the Proven headquarters. He's also like 5'4", and
Set up for him pretty good.
dude, and his mom died the week before. And like I was watching him on Savant's podcast, and he was talking about, he's like, I never wanted to quit a workout. And he's like halfway through, he's like, is this really worth it? He said he just wanted to drop the dumbbell and leave the gym. He's like, he's like, my mom didn't raise no baby. He's like, keep going. So, and then he got the world record time. So it's pretty impressive. And being in that mental state, being able to still come and perform like that is kudos to him. Freak, absolute freak.
Absolutely. Hey, real quick, you guys have a CrossFit open workout that it's in your memory forever that you hate?
Yes.
I've got one in particular, but
Which one you're going to say?
mine is 17.1.
Is that the dumbbell
Forever.
snatch and box burpee?
Dumbbell snatches and burpee box jump overs, where they increased. So imagine we had you guys do a piece for time, and then we said, okay, it's 10 reps of this, then it's 20 reps of this, 30 reps of this, and you had to just keep ascending. Most workouts, you're descending. This one, you're ascending, and then the second movement you had with it was heart rate through the roof the entire time. So that's easily my most hated one. I don't know if you guys had one.
Was that the 10, 20, 30, 40, 50? Is that what the rep scheme was?
Yeah, it was 10 dumbbell snatches, 15 burpee. I quit doing that. 15 burpee overs. Then it was 20 snatches and 15 burpee box jump overs, 30, 15, just like that.
Gotcha.
And kept going.
It
had, I don't think it had I think it was just
Finish.
It was not, it wasn't an AMRAP. It's like you have to finish it.
I remember that. I remember Mark Eubanks yelling at me on the burpee box jumps, like, you got to go. I was like, no, I don't. No, I don't. I don't want to. What was yours, G?
I've been kind of flipping through the files in my memory. I swear, I think the very first one's the worst in my brain because double unders for me at the time were so hard. So it would have been 11.1, and it was 10-minute AMRAP, and it was either 10 or 15 power snatches and 30 double unders. You remember that one, Jay?
15.
Very first one, filmed it, and it was awful at the time. I was a heavier guy. I wasn't very skilled. I didn't move a bar very well. Certainly was not efficient jumping a rope. And I just remember thinking there was a Galen that existed before the open started, and there was this new Galen that was nowhere near what Galen who pre-existed the games thought he was on the fitness world, and it was super humbling. So I think it hurt my feelings as much as it hurt my fitness.
I think those videos are actually still on our YouTube page. That's something
so bad.
Like, I think we got 6 or 7 rounds, something like that. And we're like, we're pretty good. And we go look at everybody else's, like the top guys. And they're like, we did 9+ rounds. I'm like, how did you beat us that bad? Then we watched their video. I'm like, all right, we suck.
You're kind of a fishbowl in a tiny bowl, and you think, well, I'm pretty good in this water. And then it's the whole fish out of water and fish in a lot larger body water. And then you're not even a fish. You're just a little amoeba, plankton.
We're a minnow.
How about you guys? I bet I can guess Terrence too.
I was going to tell you just to guess it. You know it all day long.
Yeah.
The year. I want to say 19. Does that sound right? 18 or 19?
I think it would have to be 18.
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah,
because you would have. Or actually, it might have been 17.
17.
Because it was before you left us here at Morristown.
It was.
You're right. Was it double unders and thrusters, or was it burpees and thrusters?
It was burpees and thrusters. It was. At the time, still not a huge fan of them, thrusters, but at the time, even weaker, even harder for me to get 95 over my head. Well, out of a, front squat out and over my head, it was 21. It started at 21 and then worked all the way down to 3. It was like 21, 18, 16, or 21, 19, whatever that walk down arrangement is.
12, 9, 6, 3, right?
Yeah. Of both of those movements.
Bar facing burpees, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and I told Galen, and he probably remembers it very well, that I was done. We were probably on the, I don't know, steal high volume rounds. Yeah. Yeah. Something like that. I was like, I'm out. And he wouldn't let me give up on it. And I finished it. But I do remember one to follow a year or two, maybe a year after, because it was still with me in Morristown. That was thrusters and double unders at high volume. And that was like a comeback tour, like a win for me, because you helped keep me really calm. I think I did the thrusters unbroken for what or unbroken for our game plan. I don't remember how we had it set up, but hit everything on the mark. So that was kind of a win. But no, that one that I told you I was quitting through, like legitimately meant it. It wasn't one of those like I'm quitting, and he's like, shut up, keep going. It was like I'm like kind of walking away from it, or but yeah.
I agree with Taryn, because that was
it 21?
So that was the repeat when you did it. The first time we did it was for for going to regionals, the year we qualified for regionals. And I remember we had to do it twice. And it was just the sheer anxiety of like, we know this is hard. Because Marty and I did it together the first time. And it's like, we broke the thrusters and did the burpees without stopping. And we're like, we watched everybody else's video. I was like, nobody's breaking. I was like, we have to go unbroken to basically go to regionals. So we did it again, went unbroken. And I just remember as soon as I got up, I had already set a bench outside and just sat on the sidewalk. And if you've ever heard me like go really hard in a sprint workout, like I just cough up phlegm. And like I sat outside for probably 45 minutes coughing up stuff, a little bit of bile as well. But yeah, it was probably the most, it was bad. It was absolutely bad.
That's the difference in me and you. You have the ability to go there. I'm like, nope, I'm not going there. I just don't go there.
Because I'm dumb. That's why.
I just quit. I'm not going there.
But yeah, I remember Marty yelled at his mom. She's like, you have to go. He's like, you need to shut up. In the middle of our like,
I'm pretty sure, did they not have a workout that was thrusters and rowing for calories too, right? That was something similar to
that. One started higher. I think it was like 28, 21, 15. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
21, 15, and 9. And Alex Anderson, one of our acquaintances / friends in Morristown, he did it that year at Matt Frazier's gym with Matt Frazier. He was a big dog back then. Still free.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I like that one way more. The burpees, man. The burpees are the worst. Like,
I'm still trying to kick around the rep scheme. What was it again? 21,
18, 15, 12, 9, 6, 3.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
screwed that up royally, huh?
He's like, take away 3. 20, 21.
Well, that was brutal.
Yeah, it was. That's my most hated workout. And then also the burpee workout, the 7 minutes of burpees. Was that 2012? G? Was that the year?
2011, yeah, 12, because 11 was the first open, right?
I think, yeah.
It was 7 minutes of burpees, and then the second one was like all snatching, right?
Yeah.
Two and single exercise events in concurrent weeks, and then the next year was burpees and snatches, so he just blended them together. I'll never forget those 3 in a row.
Yeah, that was a way better workout. That 7 minutes of burpees, I think I did that 3 times. It was stupid. I remember Dustin Moore beat me and me being pissed. I was like, if I had 5 more burpees, we went to regionals as an individual, and because I did so well in the snatch one, I was like, this is stupid. I hate burpees. Still hate burpees. PTSD.
Hey, speaking of that, we were talking about really good athletes, talking about CrossFit as well. There's a lot to be said about people's genetics. And I remember hearing about Froning when I got my level, I think it was my level 1 or level 2. His cousin was there, and he was talking about the fact that Froning came in like at the very beginning, like 2009, 2008 maybe, could do Fran strict in 3:15. So, I mean, incredible, but genetics play a big part. If you watch any of these professional CrossFitters, just know that they probably did really well in another sport as well and just transitioned over. A lot of them did. Yeah. And so it's don't feel bad about what you've done if you look at them, because they are just, some of those guys just had it right out of the gate. Those are the type of people that can walk in your gym and do a muscle up first day you showed them how to do it. They could do it. And
yeah.
So
he was a freak, man. Like, he's good at everything. Like, he plays every sport, like, and also has the work capacity and grit to put in the extra work to be the greatest. That's why I think he's probably my GOAT, if I had to say, just for the fact that he did the individual, plus he's got 10 world championships with the team. So I think that makes him.
And figured out how to ride a mountain bike with the best of them. Did you see that documentary?
The Leadville?
Yeah. Leadville. That was incredible.
You guys have
I mean, brag on Galen. Galen's first ever Fran was like 420, right, G?
It was under 5. It wasn't 3 something. I don't remember. I'll never forget it. I did it at NFC with metal plates.
You sent me a
And I'm
picture.
sure my quads were like this. I'm sure I didn't. I'll never forget a lot of the first, man. It's such a humbling thing. You believe you have some sort of baseline in fitness, and it's the same thing I was saying earlier. And if you're honest with yourself, then you realize how far you have yet to climb.
Do you guys have a favorite CrossFitter? Past, present?
I'd say Rich. He's just a bro. And I like the fact that he doesn't. If he wants to be good at something, he's going to work his butt off until he's good at that thing. Like the mountain biking, like he's doing with hunting and stuff like that now. Yeah, he's a freak. I really enjoy him.
Rope climb. You guys remember the rope climb in 2010?
Yeah.
In his book, he talked about the fact that when he couldn't climb the rope, and that's the one that cost him. He could have won 2010 championships, CrossFit Games. And he came in second because he couldn't climb the rope. And when he got to the top of just trying his own version, he fell from the top.
Look at Rich Froning. He decides that he just gathered the fort. Oh!
And they thought he broke his ankle, something like that. But he went home. He said he went home and did 100 rope climbs for time. Something like that. So just to give you the mentality of somebody like that, just to go home and hammer something you're not good at. I thought that was incredible. He might be my favorite. My favorite mentality is Matt Fraser. Matt Fraser's got like that Mike Tyson mentality. I love it. The fact he took second one year and he was like, I don't want anybody to mention I took second. He wasn't proud of it at all. I love that mentality. It's hard to live like that, but it's
twice though.
Yeah, the first one he was okay with, right? And the second one he was real mad at.
My favorite Froning moment probably it's kind of like the Matt Fraser mentality when but you saying the last workout of the games, Froning and Fraser's kind of battle back and forth. Froning had a little bit of a lead, and Froning dropped down. They had the 2-inch thick ropes they had to do rope climbs on, and Froning in between the rope climbs as he's going to the barbell went over and grabbed Matt Fraser's chalk, smashed it, rubbed it together, threw it on the ground. Fraser didn't have chalk after that. He just walked the bar and continued to win the workout.
Now he makes his way to the 245-pound barbell. The time to beat in this event.
What a gangster.
Yeah, gangster.
I don't know enough about, I haven't followed him in depth. I like from the outside looking in, he's no longer competing, I don't believe. He does have a YouTube channel now and puts up some decent content. And I don't know if it's just because of the Navy SEAL type background stuff or his size. He was kind of, a smaller guy. But I'm a big Bridges fan, Josh Bridges.
He just seems like a cool dude.
Yeah, he just seems like a down to earth person. From what I know of him, obviously I know enough to scratch the surface, but I remember, was it a 400-pound deadlift, 500-pound deadlift or something that was programmed into one workout, and he couldn't do it, and he started getting chapped up pretty good about it, being that high-level competitor and not being able to pull that. And then obviously the years to follow, it had something like that. And I'm trying to remember his little comeback tour on a heavy deadlift, but
I think that was a semifinal workout. They had 405-pound deadlifts with a runner and something else, and he could not pick up the bar. Maybe in 365, and the next year I think maybe they did 405, and he'd come back and smoke it. Yeah. That shows you the mentality of those big guys, man.
He's a little guy too.
Yeah, he was fun. Like anytime he'd have an event win, he would come through and go, just be fired up. Yeah. I love that.
He was a fun hitter too. He could always win an event or two.
Clutch. Yeah, sure. There was one year there was a snatch ladder, I think, at the semifinals, and he couldn't make it, and it came down to the very last weight. And he got the crowd amped up, and he hit it right there in front of everybody. And that's actually some of my favorite. Those are my favorite moments in CrossFit.
Yeah.
As far as we would go to regionals before we qualified, and there was one year where Froning and Dan Bailey ended up going head to head. They were so far in front of the pack, and it was something crazy. It was like 100 handstand push-ups, 80 toes to bar, something. But it came down to front rack lunging across the entire floor of the stadium or whatever it was. And Froning picks up the bar, and he's I'd say he's
pretty far
20
behind.
meters or 30 meters behind Dan Bailey. and Dan stops at halfway through and drops his bar. Froning keeps going and goes completely unbroken, and that place went crazy.
He racks it immediately and starts off on his 90-foot lunge.
Look at the difference in how they're lunging. Dan Bailey, even though he's out in front, he's stopping at the top. Rich was actually stepping all the way through, so Rich could definitely catch him if he keeps doing that. Dan has to keep stepping all the way through to make up that distance.
This capacity crowd is on its feet as Dan Bailey and Rich Froning are trying to chase down another event record. 7 minutes have gone by. The event record is 8:11, and Dan Bailey has the bar down. And here comes Rich Froning. Rich Froning has now moved into first place, and Rich Froning has his sights on the third event record. He has yet to put the bar down. The time to beat, no problem. The event record in serious danger as Rich Froning is threatening to knock off Josh Bridges from the top spot. He could take a break here, re-rack the weight and do it. It's the event record hat trick for Rich Froning.
Crazy.
He didn't have to do it. He was already winning.
He's
the
already,
event.
just to put the stamp on it, just let him know.
That's wild.
Well, boys, we got less than a minute left, so. Y'all got
And
anything?
Taryn, you got to go.
Yeah, here in the next few. Yeah.
I think that's pretty good.
Cool. Yeah, so we can bring it to a close with just a quick reminder, April 20th here in Bristol. If you're interested in celebrating our birthday here with us, come work out, come eat, come share some memories with us. Also remember the April birthday gift idea, the $50 membership that you guys can purchase for a non-member. Again, hat tip to all of our Reno folks. There it is. Got it backwards that time, but hat tip to all our Reno competitors.